Okay, good morning and thank you for coming. Okay, we are in fall. The avocado looks, that I have seen now, looks good. They look that probably they are preparing, resting, close to the winter, but it's not true. The avocado now is working a lot. It's spending energy and it's making our next crop now, in this moment. If we look what is happening during fall, we know fall shoot. I have seen in some ranches, some trees, I can see the fall shoot. The fruit is growing. I've heard some concern about the fruit size, but we have tried to improve a little bit the size. And look what is happening. Floral development. Now, the tree is making our next crop. Now, root flash, very, very important. The root flash is the control room of the tree. Very, very important. And you have to know what is happening now. Looking the carbohydrate cycle. What is important? Why? It's important, the carbohydrate cycle. It's important because the tree uses energy. The tree is not using nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Finally, the tree is eating and using energy. And the energy coming from starch, carbohydrate. Who is making the energy on the tree? Leaves, using the sunlight. When we apply nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, just only we are trying to modify the way of the avocado can use the energy. But finally, the avocado is using starch, carbohydrate, sugar, okay? And it's very important to know what is happening because carbohydrates are involved. They have a strong relation with the amount of flour for next season, okay? You have seen that. Just to check the avocado growth cycle, we are here October. The second root flash, the main, and for sure some shoot, but look, when start the transition to floral shoot development was in the end of July, beginning of August. August, September, October. Almost 3 months ago, the avocado is taking the decision of our next crop. Okay? And the avocado don't know about on and off year. Okay? I mean, we can control that? Yes, we can. Okay? Look here. You have seen this Penology avocado. You can see the red color, San Diego and Riverside areas. If you look October, the fruit is growing. I have seen some, just a little bit of fruit drop, but we know it's earlier here compared to the other avocado areas. should grow. We know, fall shoot. Flower bud initiation. Look, August, September, October. Okay. Root flash. But look again, flower bud initiation. Okay. Look here. We know 60 to 70% of our next crop, our next bloom is coming from summer shoot. 30% spring shoot, and no more than 10% from fall shoot. If we are looking our tree with not enough shoot, we have time to put the fall shoot just to increase a little bit more the amount of flower for next spring, okay? Because we know, but sure will be no more than 10%, mainly 60, 70%, okay? That is important to adjust all our management to try to put during July, August, the summer flash. Summer flash is the location for next bloom. And look again, October, floral development, okay? Look here, nice branch, full of fruit, is plenty of fruit, and look, the amount of shoot about the fruit. Can you see? I mean, this branch can get flower again? Yes. Yes, no problem. Why? Because we have the locations. Our first concern, location to get flower. Spring shoot, summer, and sometimes fall shoot. Okay? Look here. The photo was in October. It's a young tree, but look the amount of fall shoot. Okay. Look here, the same month, but look the difference. I have been with some of you, and always I say the best way to keep the tree in balance is with fruit. No pruning. Look what happened when we have a huge amount of fruit. Look, the tree is mature. It's spending all his energy thinking in the next crop. But look what happened with a young tree without crop. The normal tendency of a young tree is grow, always grow. And sometimes I have seen in Chile, in Mexico, in Colombia, Dominican Republic, and here, some growers that like to remove the first bloom. So why? Because I want to have bigger trees. But the problem, when you remove the flower, you are delaying the crop. And the tendency and the signal that you are giving the tree is grow. But we need fruit. Okay? The best way to keep the tree in balance is with fruit. No pruning, no nitrogen, no potassium, is fruit. Okay? I told you we have the fruit grow. This is the way of grow in Mediterranean climate. And we have to know Mediterranean Mediterranean climate is keep the avocado tree almost all around the year under stress. Okay? Heat during summer, cold during winter. Spring, foggy, cloudy, cold. I mean, we are working with a tree in extreme condition. Here, California, Chile, and the west coast of Australia, Mediterranean weather. And we have to think in that. You know, the avocado is coming from 3 regions: rainforest Mexico, Central America, Guatemala, and West Indian, tropical, subtropical weather. But now we have our avocado in Mediterranean climate, the most stressful weather, okay? Root flash. Why is important the root flash? It's really important because now the roots are growing and uptaking water, nutrient, to increase the reserve inside the tree. Because the avocado knows the next 3-4 weeks, the avocado will be in winter. Bad condition, really bad condition. This is the last time to increase the reserve inside the tree and to have enough energy to start next spring, okay? Another thing that you have to know, the root system can send to the canopy 2 signals, positive and negative signal. If the root system is under stress, mean not enough water, low frequency, heat, if it's under stress, they can send the negative signal to say, we have problems, you have to stop the fruit growth, you have to stop the shoot flash, increase the fruit drop. This is the signal that the root system can send to the canopy now if it's under stress, okay? But if it's not under stress, it's really, they are in a good condition, they can send a positive signal. The name is cytokines. Probably you have heard. Now there is probably will be available in 1 year a product based on cytokines to use, but from the natural way, from the natural point of view, what can we do to increase the cytokine without to use this chemical product? Improve your root system. And what means cytokines? The signal is we are okay, we have enough energy, we have enough nutrients, enough reserves, just make flowers, okay? If the root system now is under stress, the next season, the bloom could be lower. If it's in good condition, you could increase that? Sure, you could increase that, okay? Remember, the root system is the control room, okay? It's really very important. It's only 20%. The scientists measure what proportion is canopy and root system. It's only 20%, but it's very important, that 20%, okay? We have to check, we have to see the condition of our root system. If it's in good condition, good color, brown, if we could see white root, growing, good activity, it's not difficult to see. if we can see enough Y root, means I have time to apply a little bit more nitrogen, for example, if I want. I have time to apply a little bit more potassium. Sure, sure, you have new root. The uptake is the best. And it's easy to see. You have to remove the leaves and to see what is happening with my root system. Now, in fall, remember, second root flash, okay? Sometimes many growers ask me, but Gerardo, I can apply now? Can I apply now nutrients? I don't know, but let me see what is happening in your root system to answer you. But if you look at the phenological cycle, could be, yes, I know could be, but I would like to see. I don't want to waste my money. I would like to see if we have enough root to uptake. If I have enough, perfect. Invest 5 pounds more of nitrogen. Okay? It's important. We have to look our trees and we have to understand what is happening during the season. Remember, we are working in Mediterranean climate. Stress, we have only 6 months to make one crop and to make the following crop. And we have one bloom. Mexico 4, Colombia 2, 3, Dominican Republic 2, Chile, Australia, the west coast of Australia, and here in California, only 1. And 6 months to make 2 crops, minimum, 6 months, okay? I know you have seen that. I know you have heard about on year, off year, on year, off year. I have been working more than 20 years with avocado growers. And I would like to hear only, Gerardo, I have the same crop every year. Not on year, off year, okay? When you look at the other growers, other fruit crops, apples, table grape, citrus, almonds, nut, when you ask, okay, you are in on, off year, what does it mean on, off year? Well, on year, high crop, and then not enough energy, no, I don't know that. I know I have to have in my trees, just an example, 100 pieces of fruit every year to get the best quality and enough energy to have the following year the same 100 pieces of fruit. Yeah. But why in avocado production we have on, off year? And we made a alternate bearing index to measure that. We know from the genetic point of view, from the evolution point of view, the avocado, yes, they have information to control that. But we could avoid or we could reduce that. Sure, we can do that, okay? And look here, the same phenological growth cycle in an on crop. Huge amount of flower. Look the red line. The red line is starch, energy, sugar. Probably before was an off year. When the tree is finishing the off year, in fall, the amount of energy available is huge. Big amount of energy available. And finally, the tree has a huge amount of flower, a spring flush, summer flush, root flush, and finally, in fall, look what happened with the amount of energy. 30%, 20% compared the beginning of the season. That is happened during on year. And if we look the off year after an on year, sure, look, the amount of energy, almost nothing. And this is the beginning. And that energy can support just a small amount of flower, not big amount of flower. Look the difference. 3 times more, look the amount of flower. Less, a small amount of flower. Look the year. From 1988. And I have found all the information. Explain that. 1950s. We are in 2019. And we are still discussing the same. Okay? And it has been enough, and it's time to take decisions. Okay? We know now fall shoot, root flush, floral development, fruit grow, and we have to see what is happening inside my tree. They have enough energy or not? And now it's time to take decision, thinking in that. Okay? Nutrition. If I need to promote more shoot to increase my amount of flower because I don't know really, or I'm concerned, sure, I can try to put a little bit more fall flush. But you have to remember, no more than 10% of the next bloom. It's a little bit late, but sometime we have to use that. Yes, it's important to use this shoot. Root flush, I told you, storage and support for next season, okay? And positive signals, good hormones, positive signals. Fruit grow, we have time, 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks to improve a little bit more the fruit grow, and remember to take your leaf sample. We know if we look the uptake of nitrogen of the fruit, look what happened in October. October, November, look the nitrogen. They can uptake a little bit more. And nitrogen means cell division. Cell division means bigger fruit. Okay, we have time? Yes, we have time, probably 2-3 weeks more. Look potassium, the same. If I have a good, healthy root system, I can apply? Yes, I can apply. Okay? Remember, we have, I told you, fall shoot. Okay, I need nitrogen, perfect. But on the other hand, I have floral development. If I apply too much nitrogen, I can promote too much shoot, and the energy will go to support the shoot. But I need flower for next season. Okay? That is important. Probably you have heard about this balance. It's using in every crop. We have 2 main balance. Reproductive phase and vegetative phase. Okay? What is the difference between reproductive and vegetative? If my decision is to apply 1 pound of nitrogen, now in this time, that I know, fall, flower, I have to give the signal to the tree to use, you can use the nitrogen, but give all the energy, or most of the energy, making flower. And that is potassium. If my decision is to apply nitrogen, in this time of the year, I have to apply at least per 1 pound of nitrogen, 1.5 pound of potassium, or 2 pounds of potassium. Okay? Why? Because nitrogen, when it's going inside the tree, is connected with the energy. Okay? And the result of that is amino acid. And when the tree looked amino acid, for them means grow. Just grow. Okay? I mean, if we are looking at weak tree and we need to put flash nitrogen, urea, like this, ammonium sulfate, like this, UN32, just grow. Why? Because you know, nitrogen plus sugar, amino acid. And the tree looks amino acid, okay, no problem, grow. But potassium, when it's connected with sugar, the final result is starch. And starch means energy, reserve. And the tree says, oh, I have reserve, no problem. Flower, fruit, okay? That is important. That is the main reason of the ratio. And that is the main reason that we have microelements, micronutrients, you know, but really the most important, nitrogen. Nitrogen, okay? But you have to control the balance of the nitrogen, okay? This is the nutrient balance that we have to apply now. If the decision is to apply, I told you again, nitrogen, okay, no problem, 1 pound, okay, 2 pounds of potassium to keep the tree in balance, okay? I told you, nitrogen improve photosynthetic activity. The energy is coming from photosynthesis. Leaves, look the weather. It's good, a little bit cold in the morning, warmer during the day. Good condition, good condition to have a really the best photosynthetic activity, the best photosynthetic activity. But Gerardo, my tree looks a little bit pale. Nitrogen. Nitrogen. Why? Because we know nitrogen improves photosynthetic activity. Okay? Adjustment, 10 to 15% of the total amount per season. You design a program in the beginning of the season, in spring probably, okay, that will be my program for this year. That will be the total amount. Just like example, 100 pounds of nitrogen. The distribution will be 10% per month, and during summer 20%, and during fall 15%. Just like example. You can adjust now to apply a little bit more if you need. Trees with heavy crop, pale trees, not enough shoot. The fruit side, Gerardo, I'm looking the fruit side a little bit small. Okay, we have to use the next 2 or 3 weeks 10 to 50%, 10 to 15%, okay? Potassium, I told you, 15 to 20%. Phosphorus, to improve my root growth. Gerardo, I was checking the root. It's not the same like last year. Sure, it's not the same. Sure, it's not the same. And what is the main reason? And probably most of you, it's happened the same. The reason is the crop before was low. And now in general the crop looks good. Sure, the root is suffering. Sure, it's a natural cycle. Shoot, root, shoot, root. If there is not enough shoot, won't be a good root flash. And finally, off year. Okay? We can use phosphorus to improve? Yes, we can use. I have seen some leaf analysis. Mainly the zinc looks too low. With good root activity, we have time to apply to increase the levels inside the tree, because the zinc will be used next bloom. Yes, we have time. This is an example of a fertilization program: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. This is a distribution. Just like example, I wrote 100 pounds, April 12%, May 10%, June 16, July 18, August 16. Why? Summer flash. And September, October less. In general, I'm finishing here instead of November. I mean, the decision was to apply both October, November just here in 1 month. And the decision here, okay, like nitrogen, we have to use UN32, phosphorus, phosphoric acid, potassium, KTS. Here I have seen most of you are using different blends. I have seen 1455, the most common. I have seen 15, triple 15, triple 20. Many options. Many options. You have to calculate the amount of money. Okay, that are you spending when you use every nutrient separate or in a blend. Okay. Look, we have probably some of you are using this. It's a seaweed. After this, my 23 years, I tried to find the magic product to fix all my mistake, all my wrong decision about pruning, about irrigation, the wrong frequency, the wrong amount, if I apply a little bit more nitrogen or less, or instead of use potassium phosphate or foliar, the decision was trunk injection, you know, many decisions. I tried. I never. But I'm still trying to find the magic product. But I have seen some product that really could help me a little bit to keep the tree in balance. And one of them is seaweed. That you see here, we have the control. The seaweed mainly Ascophyllum nodosum. We have two main seaweed available here in California and in many countries. One of them is Ascophyllum nodosum, and the other seaweed is Eclonia maxima. And probably you have heard kelp or kelpac. That is Eclonia maxima, okay? I have seen better results using Ascophyllum nodosum. I have seen different brands here using like source Ascophyllum nodosum. But look the amount of root, the control, and look the amount of root, the treatment. Look what happened. Look what happened with the root system when you use salty water. Look. When you see the tip burn is really not important. You have to think, if you are looking tip burn, you have to think, oh, how many roots I am losing. That is the problem. It's not the tip burn. It's how many roots I am losing. How many points of new root are sending back signal to the canopy to say, we have problem, no flower, no fruit growth, nothing. Look. And look what happened when we apply a little bit more ascophyllonodosum. It's not, again, it's not magic, but could help me? Yes, could help me. And we have time now to apply if we need to improve the root growth. And remember, leaf analysis. We have new numbers. We have new tool, decision support. Avocado Society website. Avocado Society website. It's good. It's good. We have to check. Yes. But for me, priority. Trees. How look my trees? Good crop? Yes. Fruit size? Yes. Enough shoot for next flower? Yes. But Gerardo, look the number. 3% of nitrogen. But the scientists say it's outside the range. Probably it's too much. I don't care. I'm looking at my trees. Okay? But it's important to keep the tendency, sure. But in my experience, when you have a little bit more of nitrogen than the ratios, I can see always more fruit, bigger, and more shoot. And finally, even production. Less different between on and off year. Okay? But you have to look that, and you have to look your numbers. You have to review your decision during the season. Okay? We are not scientists. I am not scientist. I am avocado grower. Okay? And sometimes it's very important, the scientist. It's very important, the research. But you have to take that information and you have to include all the practical decisions that we have to think before to take the final decision. I would like to apply more nitrogen, but the crop is low and there is no money. Sorry. But I can concentrate in the right time. Instead of apply 10% per month, I can apply 50% in 1 month during summer to improve my summer flash. I can do that, but I cannot spend more money applying more nitrogen. Okay? The time of the year, this research was done in a small tree, okay? In a young tree. When you have a young tree, you can see always the avocado tree has the same cycle. Shoot, root, okay? And it's easy to see when is the right time to apply. I mean, always when you have the root flash. In mature trees, we have 2 root flash. The first, June, the end of June, beginning of July, and the second, September, October. That will be the right time to apply this product. If the tree is growing, if the tree is making shoot, if you apply, this product cannot break the cycle, just to support.
So the quantity should just be off the label?
Yes, you have to follow the label. This product is a standard. I have seen in many countries, the labels is the same amount. It's a standard. But always, if I have money, I would like to apply a little bit more. Okay? Because finally, it's organic matter. It's coming from seaweed. Especially if the soil is a rocky soil, low levels of organic matter, I would like to apply a little bit more. It's liquid organic matter, finally. Okay? Always is good. Okay? Pruning. The powerful tool. Pruning. Many times I have mentioned balance. We have to keep balance. Do you know how many leaves we need per piece of fruit? Per fruit, how many leaves to have a good fruit size and good quality fruit? Do you know how many leaves we need? 10? 15. 15 leaves we need minimum to have a good fruit size. 15. Okay? And if you think, Gerardo say, I need 15. Now, thinking in next spring, I am in the beginning of the season. I can see the flower, look good. But look what is happening with the spring flash. I have only 3 average. 5 leaves is not enough. But Gerardo told me I can put a little bit more nitrogen to try to get the 15 leaves to protect and to feed the new crop. Okay? Okay? The only way to know that, we have 2. First, you have to know what is important to look in every month, in every phenological stage. Flower, summer, root, fruit drop, fruit grow. Okay? It's really very, very important. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. The other way to know that, call the field representative of index. They know. Okay? Pruning. Now we are in fall. If we remember the phenological state, we are in the end of the season. We spend money, irrigation, fertilization, decision to arrive now with good crop and enough shoot. It's time to prune? It's not time to prune. I don't like the idea to remove shoot now. If I spend my money, irrigation, fertilization, save shoot for next flower. Save shoot for next spring. That is the main idea now, fall. But we are working with life. Always there is exception. Some grower told me, I understand, now is not the best time to prune. But now I have labor available. And in spring will be difficult to get labor. Okay? My first question, okay, here we have problem with frost. No, okay. If we look the history of this farm, we have problem during set. No, okay. We could prune now. Okay, but the other question is, 1 limb, 2 limb, 50% of the tree, one side, the opposite side, every 2 rows. You have to take that decision. You have to keep the balance. Okay? Normally Normally it's better to start early next season. I will show you, but I like to prune during bloom, during flowering. Okay? Now, maintenance pruning, balance pruning. I told you, consideration, fruit risk, low fruit set risk. I know there is some areas next to the coast, and sometimes it's foggy during spring, cloudy. The bees activity is really very low. You have to think in that before to take the decision. Okay, but we know in this condition there is no option to get a good crop in this condition. Shade, crowded, overcrowded. Look, the amount of wood. More than 50% of my trees, wood. Can I sell the wood now? And look, big tree, unfriendly tree, difficult to pick. You know, in this condition, the bees don't fly in this condition. They like warmer temperature, and they use the sunlight to fly. And here there is no sunlight. But look here. Can you see the difference? This situation could be exception. Yes, we have to do something now. We cannot wait until spring. We have to do something now here. Here is different, totally different. In this condition, wait to see the amount of flower in the spring and then to take the decision. I told you, we are avocado growers. I like to see first my crop. If my crop is good, okay, I could prune. If it's not so good, no prune. Okay? Remember always this guideline. It's not a guideline, finally. They are rules. Okay? The height of the tree should not exceed 70 to 80% of the distance between rows. 30 to 35% of total incoming daily radiation have to reach the ground level. Look, 30, 35%. The tree, probably 70, because you can see the bottom of the tree full of flower. If the tree is too high, the top will affect the skirt of the next tree, and you will have this. You will start every year, you will lose part of the canopy. Every year, okay? Look here, plenty. Look the leaves. Look the shoot. Plenty of light. Every leaf is working. Every leaf is working. Here, there is no light. And finally, they die. Leaves die. Mm-hmm. No part of the tree canopy should be more than 6.5 to 8 feet from direct sunlight. Okay? That is the idea. That means you have to prune every year. Yes. Every year. The intensity will be different, but you have to prune every year an avocado tree. Mm-hmm. Just an example here. I remember this grower we were discussing about pruning was in fall 1 year ago. I say, okay, no problem. Just one cut, and the decision was just remove this area, the top, the dominant branches, to try to put light inside the tree, but no more. No more. Mm-hmm. In fall. Irrigation. I told you, next to the dormancy and second root flash. We are here. Zero stress. Is not allowed to make any stress now. Like KC, 0.8 minimum. When irrigate sandy soil, you have seen that before, I think, 20 kilopascal, 30, 40. Soil profile testing by hand. Is easy. You have to take your, where you are looking your root, you have to take a soil samples and to check like this. And then remove the soil and look the amount of water that you keep in your hand. If there is water, means it's available for the tree. If there is no water, you have to irrigate now. Okay, now. Mainly now. I know the water cost. I know the difficulties. I am not saying you have to irrigate more. But if you can adjust the frequency, instead of wait 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, and you can irrigate, if you are checking that, you can irrigate tomorrow, will be better, okay? Just adjust the frequency. I know the water cost is more difficult to adjust that, okay? Look here, what is the idea? If you look here, available water depletion percentage. The scientist says, don't take your trees to reach that point 50%. You have to refill the soil before to reach 50%. Why? Because if you move your tree under this condition, the tree will use energy to uptake water. And I told you, the energy inside the tree is limited. It's not unlimited. And the tree can take energy from floral development to use to try to uptake water. And it's not the idea. In this moment, that is not the idea. Okay? We would like to keep this tree here, 20%, almost 30%. I mean, zero stress, no stress. And if we look, sandy, loam soil, 30%, 20 kilopascal, loamy sand, 20%, 12, 15. If we want to keep our trees now far away from stress, okay? Tree health, I told you, second root flash, good time for phosphate, for Nutrify, for potassium phosphate, mulching, gypsum. If the pressure is too high, we can use fungicide like Ridomil. The active ingredient is metalaxyl. Now is the time. Now is the time, second root flash, to try to help our root system if they are suffering. Okay. If we can improve drainage, organic matter, goody mulch, trunk injection, microorganisms, if we have available, now is the time. And if you look, I took this photo from the Index seminar number 8. Look the the phenological state to apply phosphorus, foliar, and drug injection. That means these leaves are making energy and they are sending to the root. I mean, it's the right time to apply potassium phosphate, okay? Remember, if you need to do that, it's now, okay? And again, remember, root system can send positive and negative signal, okay? And if they are suffering, just they are sending negative signal. I mentioned, and I told you, and now you know what happened inside the tree with the starch. We know if we have a good crop, the energy now probably is not enough, okay? We know now, okay, I have to apply nitrogen to get more shoot, because if I have more shoot, I will have more leaves, and the leaves are making the energy. 100% agree. And if I have to irrigate and can promote my root flash, because I know my root flash will be the support for the next shoot, because I know the cycle. Perfect. And I'm finishing the season. I can see my trees, looks good, crop, okay. And you know what is happening inside the tree from the energy, carbohydrate, or starch point of view? I don't know. Is there any sample, leaf sample, we have any kind of measure to know what is? No. I mean, now I have two options. Just leave the Mother Nature. I mean, okay, my tree is good. I hope they will have flower next season. Or I have a tool. I call it, it's like a kind of insurance. I can take the insurance or just leave the Mother Nature. I told you, after 23 years working in avocado, I don't want to hear more complaints. Has been enough. Enough. I mean, Gerardo, what happened here? There is no flower. What we did wrong? What we have to do now? I mean, I don't want to hear more. Has been enough. And that is the main reason that I like to use this tool. Okay? It's a little bit dangerous tool. Okay? Like every management has positive effect and negative effect. What is the main idea? What is the positive effect that we are trying to get? Increase bloom, increase amount of flower, and increase set. What is the idea? Build up of carbohydrate about the cut. Girling is finally a cut. I will show you a picture of that. We use a single knife or hand saw, only use on healthy and vigorous tree. And the timing is now. I showed you what happened with the starch during the season. The timing is now to increase the energy inside the tree. What is one of the negative effects? Root starvation. I mean, we are cutting, we are keeping energy in the canopy, and for sure the root system can suffer. Cost per acre, low density, including painting, I will show you a picture. Low density, $120 per acre. High density, $250. I took this number from I don't remember the seminar, but it's one of my growers in Ventura, because I wanted to check what is the cost. I mean, what is the investment to get the benefit? 150, 200, 250. If we think $1 per pound is 120 pounds or 250 pounds per acre. That is the cost to do the girling. Okay? The idea is to cut only the bark. Can you see? That is the idea. This is the wood. This is the wood. In the bark, we have the phloem. The phloem is the pipe to move all the energy that the leaves are making to the root system. And the idea is to block that. Okay? And the xylem, the wood, is moving all the nutrients from the root to the upper part, to the canopy. What is the other negative effect? You can see here, girdling branch, non-girdling branch. Sure, more flower. The scored branch had 77 fruit. Look the average, the weight of the fruit, average, 265 grams. Non-scored or girdled branch, 30 fruit, but 275 grams. Bigger, sure, bigger. But look the difference, 30, 77, okay? This is the girdling. This is the girdling that you can see. Only you have to cut the bark. That's what we call a small window that we use to check if it was enough or deeper. Okay. When you make this and you take all this in one piece, means not enough. You couldn't cut the bark. But when you do this and you just to remove one piece of this window, means was enough. And you can see the color. When you cut just a little bit the wood, you can see that color. I mean, it was a good girdling. Okay, was a good girdling. But if you take all these together, means they are connected. That means was not enough. You have to cut the bark. I have seen here all these photos is from here, from California. Different workers, different crew, different contractor, and different tool. But the idea is the same. I like this. I like this. If you see, the workers here decided to cut the saw and to have a tool like this. It's easier for them to make the cut. If it's too long, sometimes you have another branch here, and it's difficult to go around the branch. I like this. I like that idea. It was very good. And this is the effect. Can you see? 50% of the tree with flower and the other 50% without flower. Here was a really good result, because I remember was here in California, big trees, and the decision was to stump. I say we have to stump the tree. I mean, they're too high. It's too much. But the conservator over told me, Gerardo, but always when we stump, it's difficult sometimes we have to wait 3 years to get the crop. It's difficult to control the tree. No problem. We have another tool. I will see if we can immediately 6 months. I mean the first season after a stamp. We stamped in the beginning of the spring, and the idea was to have flower the following spring. And you can see here the example. Okay, and here we have one crop and the other section of the tree ready for the following crop, for the following spring. And that was the girly. Can you see? It was in a big trunk. That was the girly. Look this tree. The decision was to use medium high density. And the grower told me, but Gerardo, I would like to enjoy this is Ventura. I would like to enjoy high density. Okay, if you really want to enjoy high density, we have to have crop immediately to enjoy the 200 or 300 trees per acre. Okay, and this tree was planted in spring, and 6 months after, I mean the first fall, we decided to do girdling here, and look the amount of fruit. And we were discussing the pruning. Okay, they are the same tree, the following flower. Can you see the concentration of flower? This is the girdling. Here the decision was 2 branches per tree. Can you see here, 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 here? Look here, the same, young trees, medium high density. Okay, if the decision was to use medium high density, we need crop to keep the tree in his space, because without crop, the natural tendency when you plant avocado tree too close is just grow. The avocado tree was designed for the nature to compete per light. And in Chile especially, we thought, but if we put together, we will get more crop, more even crop, good size every year. In the paper, sounds perfect, but was not true. Because if they are too close, the natural tendency is grow. Okay? Look here, the concentration of flower. Probably here was 2 or 3 branches, was the decision. I don't know if you can see from here, there is the girdling. You can see the effect. This is high density. Look, the spacing is 10 by 10 feet. In Summits, I think is the area, 10 by 10. We have to try to keep the trees always with crop, and that is the idea to use the girdling. Look here, can you see the girdling here? Look the effect. If you look, the tree is high, and there is not enough space between them. But look the amount of flower. But for me, it was too much. Okay? It's too much. Why? My concern, I was looking these trees, and I said, yes, they look very nice. But where will be my following crop? Higher? No. In the row, and between rows, there is no space. Okay? Remember that. I will explain using another photo. Look, we can use the same branch to do the girdling. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every color means different year. The same branch. Big trees, grower likes to mark or paint. Other growers, no, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. Look here, can you see the girl in here? I took this picture 2 weeks ago in San Luis Obispo, and look, the amount of fruit was plenty of fruit. Nice result. Look this tree. You can see the fruit. Can you see that? For sure we know that is just a few amount of flower. Just a few, we know that. This is on, off year, and all. I don't know how much money the scientists are have spent explain that. But look the other branch in the same tree, full of flower. I mean, in this tree, I could have again crop. In the same place, sometimes you can use no problem, but in these kind of branches, we couldn't use again. We decided to use another branch. Look this tree, full of fruit. It's full of fruit, full. But look, 50%. And look the other 50%, full of flower.
Would you girdle the same branch on subsequent years, on successive years, or would you wait alternate years, or how would you do it?
If the branch is they have enough shoot to get flower, I will use again. And sometimes
On a successive year?
yes, because I remember the first recommendation was girdling and then pick and pruning. That was the first recommendation, okay? But adjusting all the support, pruning, fertilization, I have seen that I can use again the branch, especially if you have a tree full of fruit and you know this tree next season will be resting, you have to use the same branch, okay? But always with enough shoot about. I mean, if you have location to get flower, use it. If there is not, like I show you here, if you see, there is not too much. Can you see the fruit? There is not too much. Was not good to use again, okay? I'm starting the summary. We have to keep always the tree in balance. Can you see this tree? The girdling was here. And look the amount of flower. And look the other section of the canopy, full of flower too. Too much. What was the decision here? Can you see? Pruning. It's easy to take the decision. When I say my workers, look, weak, bloom means full of flower, almost no leaves. Remove. Why? Because I know big set, a small fruit, sunburn, not enough energy, no shoot, on, off year. I showed you from 1950, we know that? 1950, almost 70 years ago, the same, okay? But because I know I have to put this tree immediately in balance, and the decision is prune. But it's flower. Look the amount of flower. I don't need more. It's enough. And here I have room for new shoot and my next flowering. Look here. Beautiful tree, full of flower. Girling branch, 1. Girling branch, 2. The decision was 1, 2 per tree. The decision here was 50% of the canopy. But I like to spread the girdling. I don't like to use one big limb to try to get the 50%. Why? Because I know I'm affecting the root flash. I prefer to spread. But here, the concern, I remember I was with my grower, looking the flowering, enjoying the flowering, the bees activity. We saw bees, good moment, but 2 questions, 2 concerns. The first one, Gerardo, I would like to have the same amount of flower next season. The same. Okay? And the tree is a little bit high. And I don't want higher trees. That was that 2 concerns. The grower was thinking in the next, we are in the beginning of one season, and he was thinking in the following season. And for sure the concern, big trees, because we know, difficult to get labor. Is the trees too high? They normally charge more money to pick. That was the concern. I say, okay, no problem. We have to do this. Can you see? 1 cut, just 1 cut. And look the tree, look the flower that we cut. But look the tree, it's still full of flower. And if you compare here, look better. Because I know what will happen here. I know. Remember, the production unit in avocado are branches, no trees, branches. And you have to understand that when you decide your density. In Chile, we made a mistake. We thought we use 500 trees per acre. 500 trees per acre. Was a mistake. But we thought, oh, we can make just 1 tree, 1 branch. But we forgot. We are working with life. And the tree, always we will try to grow and compete for life. Instead of 100 or 200 trees per acre, I have the same. I have less trees, but more branches to use, to prune, to do girdling, to wait, better price during the harvest season. Okay?
When you cut a branch that big, do you paint it?
Sorry, say again?
Do you paint the cut?
If normally I like always to protect the bark, okay, to paint. But if you look here, was not open too much, and sometimes if it's not open too much, I like to avoid the paint, to paint. But in the safe side, always you have to protect, especially.
Small branches?
What?
The real small branches?
If I can see after the cut, they have shoot protecting, no. Here the decision was not, okay?
When you cut the main branch like that, do you go all the way back to the main trunk, or just cut it off in the middle?
If you look here, first, that was the decision, and then you have always two options. You have to take the decision looking your tree from outside. Okay, this is my cut. Okay. If you look below and there is nothing, I mean there is no lateral branch, remove completely. But here we found one. Can you see? We found one, and we decided to stop here instead to remove completely. Okay? Always you have two options. Take the decision, always two options. But if I have a nice lateral growth, plenty of foliage, in good condition to get flower again, for sure I will use for flower instead of remove completely. Okay? Or cut lower. Look, this is the same tree in fall. That was the beginning of the season. That was the decision. And this is the end of the season. The same tree. Look here. Can you see? And look, it's full of shoot. All the fruit is covered with shoot. All the new fruit. And the tree is almost the same size. And it's ready to do girdling again. I told you, I don't want to hear more concern. I prefer to hear, Gerardo, looks too much flower, probably we need to prune, yes. We need to increase nitrogen, yes. More irrigation, no problem. But if there is no flower, just excuses. Nothing to do. Nothing. Just excuses. Why? You know, avocado has a 1 year off year. It's not fair. For me, it's not fair. I know the growers, and you are using your money, and you have option to put the money in the bank or in another business. It's not fair. I mean, but that means we have to take decision, yes. We have to take risk, yes. But waiting different results, doing the same, no. Mm-hmm. Just a small comment about harvest. If we think again in the energy inside the tree, sure, we have to try to remove part of the crop early in the season, okay? Remember that. That was a trial done in Australia. If you see here, just look here. That treatment was remove 100% of the fruit when they reach 25% of dry matter. Look what happened the following year, okay? And this was other treatment, remove 100% of the fruit when they reach 30% of dry matter. Less crop. But look here. This treatment was removed 50% when they reach 25% of dry matter, and the other 50% of the fruit when you have 35% of dry matter. Look. Looks almost the same compared, remove 100% of your fruit early. I mean, there is an effect of the crop. The timing of the harvest. There is an effect of the timing of the harvest, and you have to,
You know, another reiteration of that is the trend of harvest of the far northern growers. they have adopted an earlier harvest because I think they consistently saw big or large swings of alternate bearing.
Good.
And that kind of illustrates that.
How do you determine the dry matter percentage?
How? You have to take sampled fruit and to send to the laboratory. I don't know what ways are the Californian is using here.
I think we have general ideas throughout the season on what dry matter they're.
Okay. I mean,
but,
okay.
You know, it is kind of difficult for an individual grower to maybe
Okay.
test their own, but there actually is a formula that you could use and do it yourself.
There is two main ways. You can use an oven or you can use the microwave oven. Microwave? Yeah, microwave oven.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not difficult, but that I have seen in other countries, the grower took samples, fruit, and they prefer to send to the laboratory to test. It's quicker. Okay, summary. Nutrition, nitrogen, potassium, leaf analysis. Now you know how to control, you know the consideration before to take the decision that you have to see. Tree health, light, remember light, the trees are using light to make energy. No nitrogen, no phosphorus, no potassium, light. Now we know a little bit more about what is happening from the carbohydrate point of view in our trees. We know that we can control that, or we can try to improve that, especially for flower or shoot, whatever that we want to improve, using girdling, harvest strategy. We know zero stress now. And the other thing that is important, we are finishing the season. And we have to know, and we have to check what we did right, what we did wrong, what can is important to improve next season. Is really, really important, okay? This is example, it's just example. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. The timing of the pruning, what kind of pruning we did, what kind of percentage, the girdling, 50, 70, 70, 80, what color, if we decision was to paint, what color we use. If we did some tree health injection, foliar spray, an injection, foliar injection, the crops, sure. Nitrogen, how many pounds I apply. It's really important to get and to look that information before to take decisions. It's really very, very important. Many of you ask me, okay, will be the next fertilization? I say, okay, what we done last season? This. Okay, the tree looks good, the tree looks good. Okay, my first approach will be do the same. Do the same. And during the season, we'll do the fine tune. Okay, but it's important. What will be the pruning? Okay, let me see the history. Let me see the history. Okay, here we regrow management. Okay, we remove the water shoot. Was balanced pruning during flowering. Okay, and then was pick and pruning. Perfect. Tall branches. Perfect. Okay, we did here regrow management and balanced pruning. Okay, probably 2020 will be a light pruning, a minimum bloom pruning. If we did too much pruning, probably we have a good tree, friendly tree, in balance, enough light. Okay, 2020 light pruning, minimum bloom pruning. It's important. It's really important to look what we did. Is the base to take decision for the following year, I'm sure for the future. Look here. Can you see probably the workers probably, sure, forgot to pick that fruit. This is the same branch. And with fruit again. And we shoot again to get flower. And what's girdling? Sure. I wanted to show this to show you what is the production unit in the avocado tree, are branches. We can reduce the on year, off year. We can control a little bit. Yes, yes, we can do. Look here, one crop, second crop, and probably the third crop in one branch, the same branch. It's possible. But pruning, irrigation, finally it's the basis. I told you, there is not magic product, just the basis. Pruning, light, fertilization, irrigation, root. And girdling could be, if you want to try, could be girdling. But light, good fertilization, good irrigation. Okay? And light means pruning. And you have to know what is happening in your tree. You have to always think to keep your tree in balance. Balance outside, around the tree, and inside the tree. And remember, under the ground, root system. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.